Today I will tell you all the unknown facts about NASA. So without further delay, let's get started. NASA stands for the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. NASA was established on July 29, 1958. NASA's headquarters is located in Washington, D.C. NASA's first mission was Pioneer 1, launched in October 1958. The Apollo program was NASA's third human spaceflight program. Apollo 11 was the first mission to land humans on the Moon on July 20, 1969. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the first humans to walk on the Moon. NASA's Mars rovers include Spirit, Opportunity, Curiosity, and Perseverance. NASA's Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 spacecraft are the farthest human-made objects from Earth. NASA launched the Hubble Space Telescope in 1990. The Hubble Space Telescope has provided some of the most detailed images of space. NASA's Space Shuttle program operated from 1981 to 2011. The first Space Shuttle flight was STS-1, launched on April 12, 1981. The Space Shuttle program had 5 operational orbiters: Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, Atlantis, and Endeavour. NASA's International Space Station, ISS, is a collaborative project with space agencies from Russia, Europe, Japan, and Canada. The ISS orbits Earth approximately every 90 minutes. The Mars Science Laboratory mission delivered the Curiosity rover to Mars in 2012. The Perseverance rover, launched in 2020, is part of NASA's Mars 2020 mission. NASA's Artemis program aims to return humans to the Moon by 2025. The James Webb Space Telescope, launched in 2021, is designed to study the early universe. NASA's Juno spacecraft is studying Jupiter and its moons. NASA's New Horizons mission provided the first close-up images of Pluto in 2015. The Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter has been mapping the Moon's surface since 2009. NASA's Kepler Space Telescope discovered thousands of exoplanets. NASA's Mars Odyssey Orbiter has been mapping Mars since 2001. NASA's MAVEN mission is studying the Martian atmosphere. NASA's InSight lander is studying the interior of Mars. NASA's Parker Solar Probe is the closest any human-made object has gone to the Sun. NASA's Cassini mission studied Saturn and its moons for 13 years. NASA's Galileo spacecraft studied Jupiter and its moons. The Space Shuttle program had 135 missions. The Space Shuttle Discovery completed the most missions with 39 flights. The Apollo 13 mission suffered an in-flight emergency but returned safely to Earth. NASA's Skylab was the United States' first space station. The Skylab space station operated from 1973 to 1979. The Voyager Golden Record was included on both Voyager spacecraft. NASA's Mars Pathfinder mission included the first successful rover, Sojourner. NASA's Pioneer 10 was the first spacecraft to travel through the asteroid belt. NASA's Pioneer 11 was the first spacecraft to fly by Saturn. NASA's Earth Observing System monitors Earth's climate and environment. The Apollo-Soyuz test project was the first international human spaceflight mission. NASA's Mercury program was the first American human spaceflight program. Alan Shepard was the first American in space, aboard Freedom 7 in 1961. John Glenn was the first American to orbit Earth, aboard Friendship 7 in 1962. NASA's Gemini program was the second American human spaceflight program. The Gemini program included the first American spacewalk. NASA's lunar module was used to land astronauts on the Moon. The Apollo 1 mission ended in tragedy with a cabin fire during a pre-launch test. NASA's Deep Space Network supports interplanetary spacecraft missions. NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter has been studying Mars since 2006. The Kennedy Space Center in Florida is NASA's primary launch center. The Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, manages many of NASA's robotic missions. NASA's Ames Research Center is located in California's Silicon Valley. NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston is home to the Mission Control Center. The Stennis Space Center in Mississippi tests rocket engines for NASA. NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center develops and manages many space missions. NASA's Langley Research Center focuses on aeronautics and space technology. The Glenn Research Center in Ohio works on space propulsion and power systems. NASA's Armstrong Flight Research Center conducts atmospheric flight research. NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center develops space transportation systems. NASA's Wallops Flight Facility conducts suborbital and small orbital launches. The Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico was used by NASA for radio astronomy. NASA's Chandra X-ray Observatory studies high-energy regions of space. NASA's Spitzer Space Telescope studied the universe in infrared light. NASA's Sophia Observatory is an airborne telescope mounted on a Boeing 747. The Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, TESS, searches for exoplanets. The Mars Global Surveyor mapped the entire surface of Mars from 1997 to 2006. NASA's Dragonfly mission will send a rotorcraft to Titan, Saturn's largest moon. NASA's Viper rover will search for water ice on the moon's south pole. NASA's Commercial Crew Program partners with private companies for space missions. SpaceX's Crew Dragon is part of NASA's Commercial Crew Program. NASA's Artemis I mission will be the first uncrewed test flight of the Space Launch System, SLS, and Orion spacecraft. NASA's Artemis II mission will be the first crewed test flight of SLS and Orion. NASA's Artemis III mission aims to land the first woman and next man on the moon. The Lunar Gateway will be a space station orbiting the moon, part of the Artemis program. NASA's Mars Sample Return mission will bring samples from Mars back to Earth. NASA's OSIRIS-REx mission collected samples from the asteroid Bennu. NASA's DART mission aims to test asteroid deflection techniques. NASA's Aeronautics Research Mission Directorate focuses on aviation technology. NASA's Human Exploration and Operations Mission Directorate oversees human spaceflight. NASA's Science Mission Directorate conducts research in Earth science, planetary science, heliophysics, and astrophysics. NASA's Space Technology Mission Directorate develops new space technologies. The NASA Innovators and Inventors Program encourages creativity within NASA. NASA's Women. A NASA initiative highlights the contributions of women in space. NASA's Office of STEM Engagement promotes science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education. NASA TV broadcasts live and recorded space missions and events. NASA's Astronomy, Picture of the Day, APOD, shares daily images of space. The NASA Earth Observatory provides satellite images and information about Earth's climate and environment. NASA's Commercial Resupply Services program contracts private companies to deliver cargo to the ISS. NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services program partners with private companies for lunar exploration. NASA's Breakthrough Propulsion Physics project explores advanced space propulsion concepts. The NASA Technology Transfer Program makes NASA technologies available to the public. The NASA Harvest Program uses satellite data to improve agricultural productivity. NASA's Astrobiology Institute studies the origin, evolution, and distribution of life in the universe. The NASA Earth System Science Pathfinder program supports innovative Earth science missions. NASA's Gravity Recovery and Climate Experiment, GRACE mission, studies Earth's gravity field. The NASA Ice, Cloud, and Land Elevation Satellite, ICESat, monitors polar ice. NASA's Terra satellite is the flagship of the Earth observing system. NASA's Aqua satellite studies Earth's water cycle. The Aura satellite studies Earth's atmosphere. The Global Precipitation Measurement, GPM mission, provides global rainfall data. NASA's Landsat program monitors Earth's land surface. The NASA SeaWIFS mission studied ocean color and productivity. NASA's Calypso mission studies clouds and aerosols in Earth's atmosphere. The CloudSat mission studies the structure and properties of clouds. NASA's Jason 3 mission monitors sea level rise. The SWOT mission will study Earth's surface water and ocean topography. NASA's Surface Water and Ocean Topography (SWOT) mission will map global water resources. The Earth Polychromatic Imaging Camera, EPIC, aboard NOAA's DS Coviar satellite, captures daily images of Earth. NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory, SDO, studies the sun's activity. The Parker Solar Probe is the closest any human-made object has come to the sun. The Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, SOHO, studies the sun's outer atmosphere. NASA's STEREO mission studies the sun's corona. The Interstellar Boundary Explorer, IBEX, studies the boundary of our solar system. The Heliophysics System Observatory, HSO, is a collection of missions studying the sun and its effects. NASA's astrobiology program studies the potential for life on other planets. The NASA Exoplanet Science Institute coordinates exoplanet research. The Planetary Defense Coordination Office detects and tracks near-Earth objects. Friends, did you know these facts about NASA before? Please comment. Subscribe the channel to see all such holy facts.